All right, let's just jump right in. Picture this. It's 1927, and a book comes out. On the surface, it looks like a sci-fi romance novel, but its subtitle is Looking Back from 1940. For almost 100 years now, people have whispered that this isn't a novel at all, but a secret coded map to the future of the financial markets. We're talking about W.D. Gann's legendary and honestly deeply weird book, The Tunnel Through the Air. This one quote. This is everything to Gann. It was the absolute foundation of his whole worldview. He was convinced that nothing was random. Not the rise and fall of empires, not the price of wheat. It all moves in cycles. And the ultimate key to understanding it all? He said it was hidden in plain sight, right inside the Bible, which he believed proved that what has happened before will absolutely happen again.
So you gotta ask, right? What is this thing really? Is it just some quirky old piece of fiction? Or is it what so many believe, a cryptic guide holding the secrets to predicting market crashes and even major world events? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Let's start peeling back the layers.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the book's bizarre premise. Then we'll follow the hero's journey. After that, we'll try to uncover the secret market code he supposedly had inside, check out some wild inventions he predicted, and then see how it all ties back to the Bible. And stick around, because at the very end, we're going to get to the final, hidden key of the whole thing.
All right, first things first. Let's just get a handle on what this book even pretends to be. Because, the genre alone tells you that something pretty unusual is going on here.
So, take a look at the basics. Officially, on paper, it's a science fiction romance. But right away, that subtitle, Looking Back from 1940. Come on. He's literally telling you he's writing from the future. And that's where the legend begins. The idea that this book isn't really a story, it's a manual for the hidden laws that govern how the world works.
Now, Gann knew he couldn't just write a textbook full of secrets, so he wrapped it all up in a story. It's a classic hero's journey, and our hero is a young fella named Robert Gordon.
So, meet Robert Gordon. He's this incredibly smart, quiet kid, inspired by his faith and totally in love with his schoolmate Marie Stanton. But then, out of nowhere, Marie disappears. She leaves him a note that basically says, "I'll come back to you when you've become a great man." And just like that, this quest to achieve greatness becomes the engine for his entire life.
And this is really the turning point, You have to stop and ask, is he just trying to impress a girl? Or is this whole quest to become great actually a metaphor for a much bigger search? A search for knowledge, for wisdom, for the hidden rules of the universe? I think we all know the answer is the second one.
So that quest for greatness leads us right into the first big secret of the book. Because this novel, well, it's also supposedly a trading manual, packed with Gann's famous and, let's be honest, pretty controversial market theories.
Robert, driven to succeed, starts digging into the Bible. But he isn't just reading it for inspiration. He's looking for a system. And in it, he discovers what Gann called the law of vibration. The core idea is that the market isn't chaos, it's a pattern. It moves in predictable rhythms and cycles, just like music or the laws of physics.
And this part is absolutely crucial. For Gann and for Robert, the most important question wasn't what the price would be, it was when the price would turn. He called this the time factor, and in his world, timing isn't just a big deal, it's everything. If you can master the timing, you can master the market.
And Robert doesn't just talk about this theory, he puts it into practice. He starts trading commodities like cotton and wheat, and he applies his knowledge of these huge historical cycles, some spanning 10, 20, even 60 years.
By knowing when these big cycles were supposed to turn, he surfed the insane market waves of the late 20s and early 30s. And yeah, he becomes one of the richest men on Earth.
But becoming a financial genius wasn't enough for Robert. He was also an inventor. And this, my friends, is where the book dives headfirst into science fiction that feels, well, a little too prophetic for comfort.
I mean, just look at this list, and don't forget, this was written in 1927. Robert invents an invisible air corridor for planes, a totally silent stealth aircraft, a weapon that can destroy planes from a distance, and a gas that can win a war without killing anybody. We're talking about concepts that sound a lot like radar, stealth bombers, and modern energy weapons decades before they were real.
This also shows you just how complex Robert's character is. On one hand, he creates the demon of death, this tool of pure destruction. But on the other, he invents sleeping gas specifically to avoid killing. It's this wild contradiction. He's both a warrior and a pacifist, a creator and a destroyer, all at the same time.
Okay, so we've got market theory and we've got sci-fi inventions. How in the world do they connect? Well, for Gann, the answer is simple. It all comes back to the book's spiritual core, which he saw as the source code for everything.
For the people who believe this book is a real manual, this is basically the how-to guide. First, you track every specific date and price mentioned in the story, because they're supposedly coded predictions. Second, you connect the events in the plot to real historical or even astrological cycles. And third, the big one, is to understand that all of this is just a physical manifestation of universal, divine laws that are laid out in the Bible.
And this is the big reveal, the aha moment of the whole book. The characters aren't just characters, they're symbols. Robert Gordon, that's us. That's anyone who's searching for knowledge and truth. And his quest, it's the journey toward enlightenment. And Marie Stanton, the girl he's been chasing, she isn't just a person. She is wisdom. She is truth. That's the real prize. All of this brings us to the book's climax and to the final, deepest message that Gann decided to hide inside this incredible story. So at the end of the book, Robert has literally achieved it all. He's used his crazy inventions to win a massive war for America. He's used his cycle knowledge to become unimaginably rich. He has all the power and success anyone could ever want. And yet, he feels completely empty because he still hasn't found Marie.
And right then, Gann delivers the final answer. And it's a direct quote from the Bible. After all the complicated charts, the cycles, the prophecies, the futuristic weapons, the ultimate conclusion is actually very simple. Love is the fulfillment of the law. That's it. It's the master law that gives meaning and purpose to all the others.
So the real takeaway from the whole book is this. Robert's true victory wasn't winning the war, and it wasn't mastering the market. It was finally being reunited with Marie. The whole journey to get rich and powerful, that was just the training he needed to become worthy of finding real wisdom and love. All the secret codes were just signposts pointing him to that higher purpose.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. Maybe Gann's ultimate secret wasn't a formula for picking stocks at all. Maybe what he was really trying to say is that the true key to predicting the future isn't in charts and cycles, but in a much deeper understanding of the timeless patterns of human nature, of faith, and of the one universal law he believed governed everything else.